Encouraging news tonight about kids in the Buffalo Public Schools. They are scoring higher on reading tests. That's after reading test scores dropped dramatically during the COVID-19 pandemic. Garrett Looker from our partners at investigative-post took a look at the most recent data and found while scores are improving, there is still a long way to go.
Most students attending Buffalo schools in the early grades struggled with reading before the pandemic. And then the bottom fell out. Only 44% of students in kindergarten through fourth grade read at grade level in 2019. After a year and a half of remote learning, that number dropped to 30%.
It was catastrophic. It was horrible. It was horrible on so many levels that people who are not in the classroom do not realize.
The school district has responded by including more phonics-based instruction and adding reading teachers. The result? The number of pupils reading at targeted grade levels jumped to 40%, according to district testing data.
I believe that the data is showing that, certainly there's some work that is happening. That's huge, but we still have a long ways to go.
Still, 60% of pupils in the early grades lag behind. Catching them up requires more reading teachers. Herkey said the district isn't doing enough for the students most in need.
If they were, then they would have multiple literacy specialists at the buildings, and specifically working with those groups of students more than the 30 to 40 minutes that we have them.
But the effects of the pandemic still linger, and education experts and literacy advocates are concerned that some kids may never catch up.
If kids don't have those kind of foundational skills of how to decode language, that does not bode well for a very literate future.
While the 10% bump in reading scores has prompted optimism in some quarters, pandemic relief funds used to hire reading teachers dries up next year.
The financial cliff, it's coming for all of us. That amount of money cannot be absorbed into our general fund.
Reading scores vary widely amongst the district's elementary schools. At some, only a handful of pupils read at grade level. At the district's best, Olmsted, 3/4 of students read at grade level last spring. For Channel 2 News, I'm Garrett Looker with Investigative Post.